Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays Ancestors, the Humankind Odyssey. Now, we just climbed the rock over here, the granitic rock, above where we were last time. There are some jackals below, there are some gazelles, there are hyenas, there are all kinds of things down below us. And we are still looking for a place to settle. I just climbed the rock over here just to get a good lay of the land, and now we are trying to fall asleep. So we might as well sleep up here. Well, not really up here, because just before I started recording, we were attacked by a batelier eagle, so we're going to look for another spot. I think that close to that oasis there would be a good spot. We're looking for an area with some shade. Now, of course, right over there, there's also some shade, but I do believe by the baobabs at the back there, we would have some elephants. The woodland where we came from is that side. That's also a good potential spot. Or perhaps just around that tree with a bit of water over there. There may be some crocodiles in the area though, so we are going to just have to have a look. Unfortunately, with the batelier eagle that attacked me, I did break my bones here. But we have successfully made our way down. At the top there was also a ruby, which is what I am carrying around in my hands. Just to make me feel a bit better about life, the universe, and everything. But we are also looking for a spot to sleep, so might as well grab a few leaves here, sleep a bit, and then in the morning actually head out. And of course, right as we were waking up, we were attacked by, most likely, the stalker cat. So, again, bashing his brains in. Because that seems to be the order of things. Now, that does of course mean meat is back on the menu. Interesting, our hominid over here is now able to assimilate some of the nutrients that it gains from eating meat, because you can see a little yellow ring going in as it... Now we can't because we have eaten all the meat, but as we were eating the meat we did get a yellow ring. Now of course we are still not completely omnivorous, so we are still getting an upset stomach as a result of eating the meat over here. Nonetheless, actually getting better in terms of being able to assimilate meat. And just because you are able to eat something and just because you are able to digest something doesn't mean that you're actually going to get any benefit from eating those things. And that's where the assimilation comes in. Assimilation means that you are getting the nutrients into your body. So the nutrients that form part of the food now forms part of your body. That is assimilation. Okay, now we are of course properly armed. We've got our relative resistance to the heat because we have just drunk some water. Now of course we need a place to go and explore. There's a whole pack of hyenas in front of us here. But I think it is a good idea to go to that tree right over there. Base in the shade over there, and then from there head out and explore the savanna in our normal group of 3. I think that is what we are going to do. So let's just, head in that direction. We haven't actually killed a buffalo yet. We might as well try it. There are some nice dry sticks here as well, or branches to use as a... Oh, there's a whole herd of buffalo. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. This is a bad idea. Okay. Time to hunt the buffalo again. Oh no. It's apparently time to hunt a crocodile. Oh my word. Okay, so we're going to go for the buffalo, but because we're at the watering hole, of course there has to be a crocodile as well. As I was mentioning in one of the previous episodes when we actually were talking about crocodiles, they're typical ambush hunters and they usually ambush around the watering holes, which makes sense. I mean, hominids or animals all have to come and drink. So of course this is a good spot to wait for prey to come along. Not sure where that crocodile is now. I think it's right in front here. Yeah. We just face him a bit. Maybe he runs into the buffalo. Technically, he should be attacking the buffalo or the buffalo it. There we go. Oh, but it's a standoff there with no clear winner. Interesting. Okay, a whole bunch of Dorcas gazelle. Let's chase them away as well. Got both the crocodile and the buffalo that have sticks in their bodies that are trying to get away from us. We are going to go after the buffalo first, I think. This is a bit of a buffalo hunter we've got here. There are two buffalo over there, both with sticks in them. There are two buffalo over here, don't have sticks in them. Okay. Try and intimidate a few things away a bit. Okay, I think that buffalo there is the one that is furthest away from the groups. So we have killed him. Tinkerus is no more. That's quite cool. Meat really is back on the menu, so this is going to be our first taste of buffalo meat, which apparently is actually quite nice. Okay, now of course, while we are butchering this, we do have to be careful because we have a high chance of the others also coming in and charging. Now, buffalo being really a social animal, the main reason for sociality is of course defense. Because if you are in a group, it's harder for predators or hominids to come and attack you. It just makes sense to be in a group. Let me just try and scare these guys away by waving a piece of buffalo meat around. But they really are formidable foes, so really dangerous with those massive horns they've got on the front there. So if we look in front here, the boss, or the top part of the horns there, where the horns come together with the skull, that is actually quite reinforced, allowing them to actually use that as a kind of a battering ram, but also very strong pointed horns, which they of course can use to deadly effect. Really not an animal you would be messing around with, especially not in a herd, so that's why we separated the one that we had already stabbed previously. So we got the injured one, or we got the weakest individual to go to the side, and then we attacked it. That would generally be the strategy you would have used while hunting them with spears. There's another one in front there. We're not going to mess with him though, but we are going to just go and base there to that side. I think that'll be a good-ish spot at least. So we're just going to make our way across the savannah, which is now starting to become a little bit more dangerous. There are far more animals around here now. Dangerous animals, things like buffaloes, and if you are close to the ponds or to the oases, of course, things like the crocodiles, things like hippos can be in there. Really quite a dangerous biome to be in. And now we're actually heading more towards the shrubland again. Let me just go and poke this hole over here. That's what he said. It's interesting to see the variation in vegetation. I mean, we were just in more grassland savanna environment. Now we've got a few more shrubs that popped in. And that's very often due to a difference in soils or in the water holding capacity of the soil. So how much water is present in there. Here we've got a bit more greenery. Generally this would be a wetter environment. So I think we are on a southern slope, which generally is a wetter slope. If we look at which area of the landscape is wetter. If you are in the southern hemisphere, the northern slopes of a hill would be drier, because of course that's where the sun shines relative to our position. If you are in the northern hemisphere, so for all my American and European and Asian watchers, or viewers, you guys would have the sun beating down on you from the south. So your northern slopes are wetter than your southern slopes, which is just something weird to consider. If you, for example, are putting up solar panels in the southern hemisphere, you are going to put it up on the northern slopes of your northern parts of your roof. Whereas if you are in the northern hemisphere, you need to put the solar panels on the southern roof, southern side of the roof. We are at a lovely little oasis over here. Lots of water, lots of food. Doesn't seem to be any crocodiles in the water here. The perfect spot. And let's see what it is called. The Bulky Arch Oasis. Interesting. Anyway, our hominids are complaining about life again, so we're just going to take a nap, and we're going to eat and drink. We'll be back in a moment. Well, now that was a very, very long nap. A 15-year-long nap to be precise. In fact, it was such a long nap, we actually skipped a generation. So we are heading off as new individuals. And the one leading the charge is called Dom, D-O-M. Which in Afrikaans means stupid, which is kind of a bad name for this poor little guy over here. But he is just looking around at his environment. And he has decided the best place to head now would be right over there, at the bottom of that cliff over there. Now, this, I think we've got a whole bunch of basalt over here as the rock type. But I think that looks very much like sandstone. In fact, it reminds me very much of one of the sandstone formations in South Africa known as the Golden Gate. In particular, the Brandwag rock at the Golden Gate National Park in South Africa. Really a beautiful environment filled with mountain grasslands. And then it is located on sandstone. Like, I'm pretty sure this could be... maybe not. This doesn't really look that much like sandstone. The formation really resembles Brandwag. But I suspect this is actually basalt rather than sandstone. Of course, as always, facing our fears. I'll be back in a moment. Unfortunately, I did realize that we left one of the hominids that's carrying two babies. We left him or her behind in the settlement. You can see there it's not connected and not outside the settlement with us. So just heading back to that tree over there, that's our current settlement, and then from there we'll head out again. Okay, now I'm quite interested to see where we are actually heading with our little troop of 3 hominids, because down there we've got some baobabs, which I thought was only growing in one area of the map. I'm not sure whether we are even going to that area now. I was actually trying to stay away from that area for now, because of the massive elephants that are present in that area. So I don't know, maybe we are heading in that direction. We'll see when if we find any, elephants. We'll know that we actually got there. What have we got here? This looks like a green mamba again. We haven't seen green mamba in ages. Generally wouldn't be in these open woodlands. Instead, they just get out of the way of the gazelles over here. Accidentally dropped our tools. As I was saying, green mamba wouldn't really be in this open woodland. Instead, they would rather be in the densely wooded areas. The areas, that we were in previously. That's where you would find things like the green mamba. In these more open plains, you would find the black mamba rather than the green mamba. Green mamba perfectly adapted to surviving in the forest environments because of their green color. They also are more adapted for an arboreal lifestyle rather than a terrestrial one. So up in the trees, that's where they would do best. So around here, I would expect more of the black mamba. But then again, I do believe this is also one of the few areas in the game where you can get the green mamba and the rhino, I think, to interact, which is part of the game. There's an evolution feed to get the white rhino to actually kill the green mamba. And I believe this area over here, where we have a few green mambas, is the only place you would actually potentially get that to happen. Of course, the fact that we are now a new generation means that when we come across another meteorite, like that meteorite site way over there, we actually should go and inspect it, because that's going to give us our new mutations for our babies. I think let's actually head out. We are at full stamina, or near as we are going to get for now. Let's sweep around the outside here. That looks like the area we are actually supposed to be going later on. May have taken a wrong turn over here in Miocene Africa. But at this point, we should be heading out of the Miocene, I think, into the Pleistocene, if I'm not mistaken. Ooh, there's a snake here somewhere. What snake have we got? It's one of the mambas. It's a green mamba. Okay. Okay, well, he wanted to die. I wanted to chase him towards the hippos, perhaps. Anyway, he did. And since he's dead, might as well eat some meat, lads. Not sure whether we are going to get indigestion from this. There's a good chance, of course, that we are. But always worthwhile eating as much of the things we can as we go along. There's also some more of the African turmeric. Again, there we go. There's the upset tummy. There's some more of the African turmeric here as well, which we are also going to take a bite of. Now again, notice that here we have far more of the grasses than we have got trees. So we really are out of the woodland environment. We really are in the savanna environment here. The trees that we've got there tend to not do very well if you have got frost or cold winter temperatures. So here, where it's most likely a little bit colder out on the plains, you'll find that the grasses dominate the landscape. They can handle the frost quite well. They can handle snow quite well even. Although in this area here, we wouldn't have snow really. We would have we're more likely to have frost on these plains than snow. Again, just facing our fears. We have just gotten some kind of neuronal pathway that has matured for omnivory. I suspect that is that we're not as affected by the reptile meat. So that's going to be also quite nice. It means we can assimilate more nutrients from the reptile meat, from snakes, than we would have previously been able to do. This looks like the pathway to the coast, which is where we need to go eventually. This is more of a desert environment that we are now heading into. But I do think our hominids, get thirsty far faster, much faster in the savanna than they did in the woodland, because our stamina has drained quite a bit. But let's see, what does it say here? It's the broken arch, I think, still in the savanna, but this is basically the pathway to the desert and the coast. So we'll be heading there later. For now, we still have to just quickly explore the savanna a bit more before we head over to that section there. When we get to the desert, it's going to be even tougher than it is in the savanna, because of course, we don't have water really in the desert. We've got to eat things like the tsama melon, which is a wild cucumber that you could eat. It's going to be quite an interesting plant to see. Let's just check whether we have got anything interesting in this area. We've got water, yay. There's something new. Ooh. Oh dear, I think I know what this is though. The new berries. Something I wouldn't eat if I were given the chance or the opportunity. Something I definitely wouldn't eat. It is... Oh. Okay, so it's not what I thought it was. Jujube, Sisyphus jujube, which is not to be confused with jojoba, which is a different plant used in shampoos and stuff. Only thing I know about jojoba is when it was in the Pink Panther movie with Steve Martin. But this jujube, or not sure whether you would pronounce it jujube or jujube, but Sisyphus is a genus of plants, of trees that we have got in Africa. Although this Sisyphus jujube isn't, I believe, indigenous to South Africa. I think it comes from Asia. But in any case, we can eat the berries. I thought it was a different plant, and I'll show it to you when I see that plant. I'll tell you what it was. But for now, the Sisyphus, the ones we've got in Africa that really is common in the savanna area, is Sisyphus mucronata, which is a hookthorn. And it has got quite a nice little thorn array. It's got a straight thorn and a hook thorn per node, per spot where the leaves basically come out. And in Afrikaans we call that a blinkpilaar waggebikkie. Blinkpilaar meaning glossy leaves, and waggebikkie meaning wait a bit. And there's an old movie, I believe, the Gods Must Be Crazy 2, where the waggebikkie comes into play. There's a part in there. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but there is a part in there where you do find the waggebikkie tree, the wait a bit tree, living up to its name. Quite a fun movie. I think I watched it, it must have been 2-3 months ago. But we are at the trunk of basically the largest succulent tree in the world, if I'm not mistaken. The baobab. This would be Adansonia digitata. Quite a fun name to also say. Also known as monkey bread, which means that if we actually go up here and look for the fruit, there it is. Hello there. Let's just grab that, jump down. Up we are. Supposed to face our fear over there. We're not going to be facing our fear. But we're just going to jump down and inspect this fruit over here. It's going to tell us this is monkey bread. So this is the fruit then of the baobab. Quite an funneled plant. Adansonia digitata fructus. Fructus referring to fruit. But Adansonia digitata then being the species. Now we can't just go and eat this. Instead, you need to bash it open with a rock. So let's see whether we are successful in that. There we go. We have opened it up. And now we should be able to eat it. It is the fruit or the seeds inside there. That's what you are after. We're eating the seeds there. Not only the seeds, but really more the pulp around it. I loved eating it. It's got a bit of an acidic taste to it. I haven't eaten baobab fruit in such a long time. I actually really miss it. And one day I want to actually let my wife taste it as well. It's really something you need to eat at least once in your lifetime. If you have the opportunity, you have to. So while we are up here looking around at what we can see, there is something very interesting that we can see. And right over there, we have the Miocene elephants. It's got a weird name. I'm pretty sure it is Stegotetrabelodon. Stego referring to high-ridged. Tetra meaning four. Bello, I think, is beautiful, like in bello, I think, and then dont is tooth. So this is a beautiful tooth, a beautiful high-ridged four-tooth elephant, which is an interesting name to give it. But there we have got two of them. Should be some more. This is probably the elephant's oasis, or one of the main elephant environments. I think this is the only place you actually get the Miocene elephant. And they are going to be extremely difficult to take down. So the Baobab's Oasis, referring of course to the fact that we've got the baobabs growing in this area. So whenever you see the baobab trees, you know that there are going to be some elephants around. And the tough fruit of the baobab, which we had to crack it open with a rock, that is designed to be opened by large animals such as the elephants. So they really are dispersed by mega herbivores. There's the grey-crowned crane in front here, and some more meteorites landing in the area. Oh, there was a baby! Oh, there was a baby elephant. That's cool. But yeah, whenever you have these very hard fruits, that like this one, have to be opened up by eating it with a rock, generally that would then be something that's eaten by a big animal, like the Stegotetrabelodon at the back there. Really an amazing creature. Oh, that's awesome. Anyway, we are heading down again. Let's head down to the tree trunk. And then just grab our stick over here. The problem is, the moment we set our foot over here, we are going to have to conquer our fears. Which leaves us open a little bit, and we are tired as well, which does leave us open to attack by the elephants if we are not careful. Unlike most of the large animals that you can encounter in the savannah and in the rest of the game, the elephant doesn't really give you any warning. They just charge. And if you are not able to dodge, well, then you are going to get trampled quite quickly by the elephants. But we are just going to head over to the area where we can conquer our fear over here on the other side of this stream over here. And then at least we should be able to see normally in this environment. Okay, so let's see. Have we got any elephants in the general vicinity? Doesn't look like it. So this would be a relatively safe spot to take a nap. We are going to head up to that area next. Okay, so we just had to conquer our fear again as we almost reached the spot to discover. And we have found something else. And I think this would be the berry. Yes, this is the one that I wouldn't eat. Yeah, definitely wouldn't. It's got some nice flowers on there. 5 petals to the flowers. Yep, this will be the fruit I definitely wouldn't eat if I can help it. But let's see why I wouldn't in a moment. This is the berries, or these are the berries belonging to the Bushman's poison bush, Acanthera oblongifolia. Okay, oblongifolia is a different species than the one that I know. I know the oppositifolia species. Either case, the Acanthera berries, not a good idea to go and eat them. I know of people who have eaten it and who were sick for a week, coming out both ends, really, really bad. Monkeys or primates, other primates, can most likely eat it. We shouldn't. We are going to be poisoned by it quite hectically. And in fact, the Acanthera oppositifolia species, and I'm pretty sure oblongifolia as well, were used by the indigenous people of South Africa, the Bushmen or the San, to make arrow poison, or as part of the cocktail they used in their arrow poison. And I think this would then be the Acanthera clearing, or the Acanthera Oasis, or something along those lines. Let's see what it is. Oh, it's Hidden Water Oasis. Okay, never mind. So Hidden Water Oasis, most likely a spring that pops up here. There's the hidden water. Okay, interesting. It's hidden because it's out there in the open, but in a little bit of a depression behind the rocks. Okay. Quite beautiful. We've got a baobab growing here as well. We've got some palms. We've got all kinds of things that we can eat. Alright, so looking around over the savannah, we've got our settlement right at the back there. And on the way back there, we are going to go past that meteorite right over there. But we're first going to just swing around to the left-hand side there. There is another spot we can discover. So that's where we are heading now. Running around a bit on 2 legs and on 4 legs as much as we can. And then we're just going to swing around to that side, go past the elephants. Have a closer look perhaps. We'll see, either today, either in this episode or in the next one. And then we are going to just swing around back to our little oasis that we are at. Now there are these dead trees that are quite present in this area, and I suspect they would most likely have been killed in some big fires, because savannas are fire-driven ecosystems. Unlike the woodlands that we had a look at earlier, that we were in earlier, and the forest that we also were in, where fires really aren't that common. The vegetation is too wet to really support fire. Here, because the vegetation is quite dry and there's lots of grass, lots of fine... Ah, okay, there was a black-backed jackal. Okay, I was wondering what on earth are we encountering that wants to attack us, but there was a black-backed jackal, Canis mesomelus. But anyway, because we now have finer grasses here, and because we've got, drier vegetation, there's a higher chance for fire to actually be present in the area, or to come into the area. Let's just see, can we discover this yet? Don't think so, no, we can't. We'll probably need to get up there. Oh, hello. Now you will be struck by a basalt chopper, you black-backed jackal. As I was saying, fire really being more common now in the savannah than in the woodlands and the forests. And so many of the plants we've got in this habitat would have some adaptation, or in this biome would have some adaptation to surviving in the fire-driven ecosystem. As we smack another jackal over the head with a basalt chopper. We can hear the wind howling in this game at this point as well, as it is forced through this relatively narrow canyon. And of course, wouldn't be an exploration episode without us having to go everywhere to try and or conquer our fear everywhere. Let's just quickly go and do that before we discover whatever this spot is, because we can't discover it while we are terrified of the unknown. Be right up here, there we go. Our clan's home range really is one hell of a big area by this time. Another little oasis over here, lots of food and water to consume. Quite a few butterflies as well. Now you would find a lot of butterflies around these little wetter spots, because they often drink water from the canyon's entrance oasis. Okay, so the canyon is the next biome. As I was saying, the butterflies would drink water from the mud over here. Also, butterflies very often are attracted to fresh urine and fresh dung, as they would drink the liquid that's located in there. And may also be a little bit after the salts, but very much after the liquid in there as well. Beer. You can also really, really attract butterflies with beer. Although that is a waste of beer. I can hear hyenas as well. Oh no, I can hear the Miocene horses. Oh, look at that. Stegotetrabelodon. We are going to be having a better look at them later. I don't want to be chased by them today. We have to do something for next time, you know. So keeping our distance from anything that's significantly larger than we are, including those elephants. Seems they are... Oh, there's another snake. Where is the snake? Right over there. I'm going to chase him away. Go away with Mr. Python. We don't have time for you. Ooh, there was a Macaridus as well. But the Macaridus has now died. So the Python there, gripping onto its prey. Like it did there. We're still close to some kind of predator. Not sure what is still in the vicinity. Anyway, the Python gripping onto the Macaridus prey there. And then coiling around it, eventually coiling so tightly that it stops the heart of the Macaridus, of the prey item. Elephants are moving away from the meteorite, so we can actually quickly inspect. We've got all the babies in the area, so let's quickly inspect to get our mutations. And then we will run away. Run away very quickly. I could hear heavy footsteps. Not sure where the elephants are, but anyway, we're just running around. There's another python. And we are getting ready. We're actually sprinting quite a bit now through the savannah. As we are getting better at the bipedalism. Now, this species here, as I've mentioned, Auroran, not... Oh, there we go. Being attacked. Wow, take that. Don't interrupt my speech on Auroran and bipedalism. You too, Mr. Snake. As I've mentioned before, Aurora not really, most likely not being bipedal, not that bipedal at least. They may have been a little bit more bipedal than the Dihedranthropus that we had previously, which really wasn't bipedal at all. But then the next species that we are going to be, which I think is Ardipithecus, that one there has shown a little bit more bipedalism. There are some more Macaridus over there, Amphimacaridus. But Ardi, the next species, would be more bipedal, based on the development of the bones and then also the hip joints, indicating a bit more bipedalism. And then the species after that, I'm not sure whether that is Australopithecus afarensis, but that one would be far more bipedal. And we'll talk about RD and the development of bipedalism, I think, when we get there, which will most likely be in an episode or two. For now, we are back at our settlement, and we are going to just drop our babies to get the different mutations. But then here, as we approach midnight, we are going to end today's episode. So join me next time as we do another evolution leap, potentially reaching the next hominid in the series, Ardipithecus, and we explore the savannah a little bit more. Potentially also attacking those massive four-tusked elephants that we can see in the savannah, or that we found in the savannah today. Remember to leave a like below, subscribe if you haven't yet, and if you want to be the first to be notified when new content drops. And until next time then, stay safe, and I will see you guys soon.